and gentlemen, very good afternoon to you all. Well, in the first session, it just occurred to me that the imperial court of Emperor Ashoka must have been like this in those olden days. Well, I don't come from Mars or Moon, so I have nothing new that you have not read, you have not heard, or you have not watched. First of all, thank you, the organizing committee of this convention, for inviting me here. I'm delighted to be in this holy place of Mahabharata. Let me remind you the influence and spheres of Ganga. You know, the first Rana Prime Minister of Nepal, when he was visiting United Kingdom, during the coronation of Queen Victoria, everybody went to River Thames and started taking a dip, closing the neck, mouth and nose. And everybody started saying, Haragange, Haragange, Haragange. That is the importance and the influence of this holy river. And I'm proud to tell you that all the rivers flowing from the Himalayas would always flow to the Ganges. Of course, this does have an connotation with the geographical location and the geographical dictation that we have. I'm sure that this is a collection, a galaxy of expertise, experts, experience, talents, and knowledge, the prestige and pride of this vast country, India. I feel that everybody of you, each and one of you are the cream and butter of India. Probably I am the only one who is a lotter potter from outside India. I don't know. I was asked to speak a little about Nepal and the regional security situation by General Shekhawat. I didn't know what to speak, to be very honest. You know, the future wars, particularly for smaller nations, are going to be very complicated and compounded. The future leaders in uniform will not be fighting from the trenches, tanks and guns. Very rare, if and when they have to fight. So they would be fighting in the hearts and minds of the people, at the center of urban areas, full of people with conflicting interests and conflicting intentions. Diverse, the expectations and aspirations will be very different, contradictory. You would have people to deal with who would have crossed 60 and 70s. You would also have to deal with children who are under 5, under 10, teenagers, under 30, various age groups. You would have news-hungry media people who love to sensitize any situation that you have, any issues. You also have INGOs and NGOs with conflicting interest and intention again. And you will have this human rights activist, the non-state actors as they call it, but I see it, these so-called non-state actors would be the greatest challenge for any future operations, whether war or operation other than war. So we will have to be prepared for that. Are we prepared? Are our junior leaders prepared? Look at what is happening in the region, in our neighborhood, or in the international, in the global community. This is what is exactly happening. It's very complex. You may have a beautiful girlfriend having a cup of good tea in the morning in a hotel, but she may be the one who would be kidnapping you in the evening. You may be having a good breakfast in a restaurant with a friend of yours, but he may be the one who would be gunning you down in the evening. Not to go into details. Now, these are the type of problems, challenges that we will have to face in the days to come. Now, are we prepared for that? Mentally, physically, psychologically, and of course, the minimum adequate essentials that people in uniform need to have it. A simple, mandatory must. Are our politicians wise enough to give a due consideration to our request to be prepared for all these, so that we will always be prepared to face or to expect, because our profession demands that we must expect the unexpected. And that is our challenge, a real challenge. It's not something like reading the book or in the paper or watching in the TV or in a discussion or in a debate like this. It's a real challenge. In Nepal, we had problems. And many of you, of course some of you must have controlled with me in NDA or in IMA. I am sure some of you are here who have controlled with me, even if you are not belonging from the same course. That is why that I am so delighted to be here. Anyway, Nepal is still facing a complex challenge. There is a so-called political party was supposed to have come with the largest majority in the parliament. Let's not go back how they won the election, how they got the maximum number of seats in the parliament. But don't forget the maintaining armed elements. If there is any menace today, if there is any threat to the civilization, the human civilization and human life, the rights and liberties of the people of the global community, needless to say, we are watching it, we are experiencing it on day-to-day basis. Terrorism, extremism, and radicalism, that is the threat. And people are being killed, innocent, ignorant, without any of their, what do you call, blame, fault. Now, how do you do it? We have enough of Hezbollah and Hamas in the Middle East. I'm sure no one would like to have another group of Hezbollah and Hamas in Nepal. That is what the most worrying thing. If anyone understands the impact that it can make it, not only in Nepal, but for the whole neighborhood, in the